What's up, guys? It's Ryan here, doing another Think, Learn, and Be Vulnerable vlog. Today I'm going to talk about Miles Morales, aka Spider-Man. For those of you who don't know who he is a half black, half Latino child. He's like 15, 16. Who gets bit by a similar radioactive spider, Spider-Man, and eventually becomes another version of Spider-Man. There's a new game for the PS5 that came out, Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I think is awesome. It's a really fun game. It's really, graphics are really cool. There's also was a movie that came out, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales was the lead character. Best Spider-Man movie ever made, and I'm not saying that with any hyperbole whatsoever. It really is. But why is Miles Morales so important? Like, why the heck am I even talking about him now? Miles Morales, the main thing that I think is so interesting about him is he really shows how much the power of representation is clear, like how obvious and how strong it is. And similar things happened when Black Panther came out. I don't think a lot of people realize how many Black and Latino and minority people and cultures feel unrepresented, unseen, and unheard. Because if you were always being represented and heard and identified and empowered, the sheer fact that a movie like Miles Morales or like Black Panther, or that a movie like Into the Spider-Verse or a game like Miles Morales, we wouldn't even be talking about the race of the character. It impacts the character. It characterizes the character. It lets us know more about them. But that would be interesting in the story itself. That wouldn't be the story. That wouldn't be the thing that's drawing so many people to these games and to these movies. But so many times people are like, oh, wow. Like, it's so cool to see me. There's me. That's me on screen. And I'm like, that's not even real. Like, it's a fictional story. It's a story from a comic book. Like, there are real people out there that should make you feel represented and should make you feel empowered. But because their stories are not being pushed out there, because they're not being seen by millions and millions of people, they're just not. Martin Luther King was incredibly inspirational, but one of the reasons why he was so inspirational is because so much news and media coverage was devoted to him, because he was stirring up a lot. I mean, just a ton of feelings and emotions. And it was a very, it was a very emotional time. There's a lot of people that were feeling underrepresented, and he gave them a voice. And they felt like they could actually make real effective change because of him. And it just goes to show, like, Miles Morales should be interesting, not just because of his race. Miles Morales should be interesting because he's an interesting character. He really is. And I think it's sad that just seeing a fictional character from a comic book makes you feel empowered because it means that we're doing a really poor job of empowering non-white communities when this is the thing that like makes you feel empowered. It means there are far too few avenues for empowerment, and there's far too few representation in media than there should be. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. So, think, learn, be vulnerable. What do we think about? Well, we need to think about how things are being portrayed and how we are portraying them, and can we do better? Because we definitely can. Learn. Well, we need to learn that representation matters. And while I'm annoyed that so many people are feeling empowered by Miles Morales is a commentary on our society, at the same time, that representation is really important. You know, we can't just stop and just be like, well, you know, you should be inspired by real people. Well, yeah, but at the same time, like, being inspired is important. And so the people that make these, you know, commercial products, I hate to say it, media and commercial products heavily influence thought and feeling and culture. And so in a weird way, we have to like keep buying Miles Morales stuff, because if people in power, if marketing people and these huge companies see that Miles Morales is selling, is a huge figure, and is making people feel represented, they're going to continue to put media and products out there that also represent these cultures. Miles Morales will be one of many different figures that are reaching out and representing people better. And that's ultimately going to be a good thing. So, vulnerable. How can we be vulnerable? Are we being positive role models? Are we being positive people for our cultures and our communities? And are we not only respecting other cultures and other communities, but are we lifting them up as well? Are we looking at people that might be different from us and saying, not only is that okay, that's a good thing. And we are brothers and sisters and family, despite being from different communities, despite looking different, thinking different, feeling different. We're all still together on this. And everybody should feel strong and empowered and represented and feel like they matter and feel like media and culture not only respect and care about them, but want them to succeed and want to put out role models for them. Because let's face it, Miles Morales is a role model. Spider-Man is a role model. Black Panther is a role model. They're not real characters, but they're still role models. And it's sad that the best role models we have for Black and Latino communities are Miles Morales and Black Panther. And there's definitely other ones, but those certainly the most seen. And that's the problem, is we need, as a society and as people, we need to really start pushing and promoting as many good, positive role models from a lot of different communities and from a lot of different cultures and viewpoints. It's the only way we're going to get better as a society. Because there's one thing that the last 4 years have proven, is that when you only have one viewpoint, things get bad. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching.